Hey everyone, I'm Ashton Addison from EventChain.io for the Crypto Coin Show, and today on Blockchain Interviews, we have Andrei Polgar, the author of The Age of Anomaly. It's a super exciting new book that he just wrote. It's being released, and welcome to the show, Andrei.
Thank you very much for having me, Ashton, and thank you guys for tuning in.
So let's dive right into this book. Tell us a little bit about what is the book about and why did you decide to write it?
Many people know me thanks to my 1 Minute Economics YouTube channel as the economist dude on YouTube. And I've always felt that this comes with some responsibility. There are people who care what I have to say. There are people who listen to what I have to say. So I didn't want to feel guilty, essentially, for having major concerns, as I articulate them in the book, about the economy, but keeping them to myself. So I kind of did the exact opposite. I wrote a 400+ page book that basically tells people from A to Z what I think is going to happen, what I think they need that needs to be done, and so on. Not only that, I'm reaching out to people. I'm going to have over 100 collaborations with channels, podcasts from all over the world to celebrate the launch of the book. I'm going to have a contest on my channel with prizes, even such as 1 Bitcoin, which is the #1 prize. I'm going to reduce the price of the book. So essentially, I'm on a major quest to have access to people's minds, because the only thing essentially that I care about is having access to them, planting seeds, and it is my hope that these seeds, in as many cases as possible, are going to germinate and turn into something awesome.
That's great. So as a preemptive, I know you've been studying economics for a while, and there is some major trends in financial markets that are part of the flippening, and cryptocurrency ties into this as well. Could you expand a little bit about what you speak of, moving forward with these traditional markets, stock market, housing market, and these other things, and where do you see this going?
I consider myself a hands-on economist. So yeah, I have the academic dimension covered from bachelor's to PhD, but I also trade the markets, including crypto, including traditional ones. I have positions in real estate here in Romania. I keep my ear to the ground, and what I can say is that I'm not the type of person who's easily spooked by, for example, the idea that the market's going to crash by 60% when it comes to stocks or real estate. No, what I'm afraid of is what happens next. It's a major change in narrative. And essentially, I do believe, and I try to explain it in the book, that we're going to go from a narrative like, don't worry, markets are crashing, but central banks and governments have it all under control. We're going to go from that to we're in trouble, but governments and central banks will bail us out, to who exactly is going to bail out governments and central banks. And this ties into what you said, because once these things start unfolding, as has happened many times throughout history, it's inevitable that we're going to deal with a loss of confidence induced big reset type situation. And that obviously translates to a major transfer of wealth. And the reason why I'm all over the place, why I'm focusing so much on this book, despite there being tons of other better ways to make money on the internet, why I'm here is because I know that the average person, historically speaking, tends to be on the losing end of that deal.
Definitely. There's a 1% and there's a 99%. And to be as educated as you can, read as much as you can, study as much as you can to help yourself and benefit yourself moving forward. So speaking on, I feel like it's a cyclical movement of the economy. There's booms and there's busts. And throughout the 1900s and now in the 2000s, there have been a few crashes of the economy, the North American economy as well as the world economy. What do you see coming up in the short term? Do you feel like the time is now where something is going to happen big in the world?
Cyclically speaking, definitely so, because only once has it happened that more time passed between recessions than right now. And if another year goes by without us having a crash, then it would be a record. So yes, from a cyclical perspective, we're definitely due or even overdue a financial crisis. And there are essentially so many pockets of anomaly, as I choose to call them, each of them individually important enough to warrant our attention, but together, they do tend to give me goosebumps. So yeah, even from a cyclical perspective, it makes perfect sense to expect a major crash sooner rather than later.
Okay, and you mentioned that you're in Romania, but a lot of our viewers and people tend to focus on the economy of North America and more specifically the United States because of the huge financial industry that they have. Do you think the core of this new cycle of this crisis that we may be going through is going to originate from the States? How much do you touch on that in your book? And do you see that starting the ripple effect for the entire world, or where do you see the origin?
At the end of the day, it's always hard to determine what kind of a black swan event is going to cause it. And in our deeply interconnected world, if China sneezes, America is going to catch a cold. If there are problems over in Japan, then you can be certain that people won't be happy in the European Union either. And this is actually why, in my book, In the Age of Anomaly, I actually embrace my incompetence when it comes to predicting the future. I make it a core pillar of my strategy because essentially paying attention too much to what the trigger is going to be, that's just noise. What matters is that there are various things that could essentially cause this. But personally, I would much rather dedicate time and energy to becoming more resilient, so as to essentially withstand anything that life throws at me, whether it's deflationary, whether it's inflationary, whether, okay, if you were to ask me for my best guess, it would be that we're going to have a deflationary event followed by a loss of control that's going to eventually lead to an inflationary spiral. But your guess is as good as mine at the end of the day. What I try to push to people is this. I don't want to get you hooked on my predictions. I don't want to get you hooked on a strategy or another that I spoon feed you. What I do want from you is to take meaningful action yourself, to become an independent economic thinker. Don't listen to the talking heads, including this talking head. Do your own research. I'm going to give you in my book, of course, the perspective and the tools you need to pull it off. But the final decisions, don't outsource them to me. Don't outsource them to anyone else. It's on you to figure these things out.
I think that's a very important point that you've made, and the fact that you're touching on, the incompetence and uncertainty that, as you've written this book, you don't know the future. I don't know the future. We can educate ourselves as much as we can, and conveying to others that they need to educate themselves as well to prepare themselves. I guess that's sort of part of the key point that you're making.
That's always what I'm selling. Like, especially in the financial industries, there are all sorts of gurus who come and go, who claim they have all the answers. And of course, I'm going to give you an easy solution to be financially secure. Of course, I have a quick fix for you. But these people come and go. And I like to brand myself as the guy who's always here. So by all means, if people prefer to listen to Flavor of the Month economists, then that's their prerogative. But I am more than happy. I'm going to still be here, and I will be more than happy to, help them recover when they realize that the name of the game is kind of pushing for sustainability.
I completely agree, Andrei. So this is the Crypto Coin Show, so if we could go and touch back to cryptocurrencies a little bit. I know in previous financial crises, there, hedged assets like gold and silver, heavy metals, have had opposite effects where if some markets will go down, heavy metals will go up as a safe haven. And some people have tied, cryptocurrencies as sort of like that digital gold that sort of fits into that same category. Can you speak a little bit about the cryptocurrency industry and how it will be affected by these financial crises?
First of all, one important advice for those in crypto. Do not be surprised if, just like what happened with precious metals after the Great Recession, the initial reaction of the market will be a negative one. Or in other words, don't be shaken out if right after whatever it is that triggers the event, crypto prices fall. Again, the same thing happened after the crisis with precious metals, and sometimes it takes time until the market digests what happens and until the assets you've invested in to hedge kind of end up doing their thing. So yes, I most certainly believe that crypto core, the best of the best, of course, in terms of crypto, will act as the safe haven they were adopted as being. But there's one important distinction to be made. Now more than ever, and by now I mean the context of the next financial crisis, people need to understand that the things that worked in the past will probably not work in the exact same way. So now more than ever, when researching altcoins, for example, you had better do a much better job when it comes to due diligence. You had better make sure you pick the right projects, okay, and avoid pump and dump schemes. Because, of course, a lot of people have made money last year, for example, or even at the beginning of this year, in an everything goes manner. And these things might not work as well. In fact, I would venture to say that the next financial crisis might bring about a bit of a big divergence situation in crypto, in that you're going to have the best of the best in terms of crypto projects that are going to do remarkably well and generate life-altering returns, whereas, flavor of the month, pump and dump type altcoins, not so much. So if I were to give people two pieces of advice when it comes to crypto in the context of the next financial crisis, it would be this: don't be shaken out. Understand that the initial reaction of the market might be negative, just like what happened with precious metals. And two, focus on quality, do your research, and understand that after the next financial crisis, we will no longer be able, most likely, to just say crypto in a way that encompasses everything. There's going to be good crypto, there's going to be bad crypto, and it's on you to do the research, to put in the work, and decide which projects are worth investing in.
I completely agree. So, do you think that a lot of the people in the cryptocurrency industry really already have that mindset where they can foresee a financial crisis in the case of, it's not if, but when? And that's really, the people really need to help themselves. And I think that, giving this kind of information out as you mentioned, you're selling your book for not even $1, 99 cents, to be able to spread this information as widely as possible and provide it for value. I think that's part of one of the key strategies.
I've chosen 99 cents because it's the perfect balance to me. I'm essentially giving the book away for free, but also symbolically, you're giving me those 99 cents. You're invested in my work. You're there. And that's kind of what I want to do. Like, someone who's in it for the money is not going to write 400 plus pages and sell it for $1. This is something that's bigger than myself. And that's kind of the role these things have, my YouTube channel, my books. I always try to keep a good balance between projects that are very good at putting food on the table and projects that kind of give my professional life a deeper meaning. So that's pretty much what I'm in for when it comes to this game.
That's wonderful. So your book's coming out this month. Can you tell our viewers what's the best place to get it? How do we follow your channel and stay in touch with news? Do you release news more often about the economy and the crises, or how can people follow you?
Well, the book is going to be heavily discounted to just 99 cents as of this point, as of the 6th of August, when this is going to go live, and up until the 12th of August, until Sunday. But even after that, the price is not going to be unbelievably high. They can find the digital and paper versions on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. They can find the digital-only versions on iBooks and on Kobo. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm an easy guy to get a hold of. You can just head on over to youtube.com/1 Minute Economics. I'll do my best to continue publishing these animations. And as things progress, and as I'm going to realize that people maybe want my advice when it comes to current events more, I'm going to come up with new formats to kind of help people. So, for example, when the next financial crisis starts, I might do even very long live streams. Or I'm going to do my best to adapt and kind of take my role seriously as a guy that people look up to when it comes to economics. So whenever something bad happens, people can find at least some comfort in knowing that I'm going to be there and they know where to find me.
That's amazing, Andrei. Author, The Age of Anomaly, it's been wonderful speaking to you. I really appreciate your insights into the crises and where cryptocurrency is going. And we should follow up. Hopefully, the crisis isn't too soon, but so we can give time to let everyone prepare themselves. But when it does happen, you know who I'll be talking to.
Perfect. Thanks a lot for the opportunity, Ashton. I'm going to be happy to come on again, and we'll keep in touch.
Yes, thank you so much, Andrei. We'll speak soon, and have a great day.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.